It's Tuesday, you know what that means. But it's not just any Tuesday. This Saturday, we're going to see Survivor Series War Games. And before we get there, we got a burning question to ask. Why is the new Bloodline so dangerous? It's a decorated tag team, a long reigning champion, a understudy to greatness on a different level, and a monster in every sense of the word. That's what this new Bloodline is made of. They're just not following the footsteps of Roman Reigns. They're carving their own path of destruction. But what makes this faction so dangerous? Why is the new Bloodline like any other? Well, those guys at Championship Culture want to tell you why. So let's get to it. Welcome to Season 3 of Championship Culture. I'm Brandon the Guy, and remember, every belt has a story. I might look like I'm on screen by myself, but trust me, I will be joined by the super producer. You know him as H to the A to the S to the T to the H to the E to the 3 to the R to the 3. I'm sorry, R to the D. I said 3. I don't know why I said that. I said it a billion times, and of course I messed it up as he shakes his head backstage. I can see you. But, ladies and gentlemen, the super producer, Brother Hugh, will join us. But in order to answer that burning question, why the new Bloodline is so dangerous, more like a statement, but a fact, right? This Bloodline has been very, 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 very dangerous, unlike anything we ever seen. But in order to do this topic justice, and in order to do it the way the Championship Culture does, of course, we're going to have a special guest. So, ladies and gentlemen, tonight, the Championship Culture guys are joined by none other than a proud host of the Cat Cave, a podcast dedicated to all things when it comes to the Carolina Panthers, delivering an in-depth analysis, insider perspective, and engaging discussions every Wednesday on Tobacco Road Sports Radio. Also, he brings sports fans a dose of humor and quick-witted commentary as the host of Quick Hits, a dynamic podcast offering sharp takes and a comedic relief, and every Tuesday and Friday on Boom Broadcasting. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see him on the screen, we have none other than Mr. Shannon Smith joining Championship Culture tonight. Let's welcome to the stage. I would say welcome, but I already said it. And this guy joins us with a Bullet Club shirt. Welcome, brother. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great, man. I'm looking forward to this show, man. From the last time I seen you, when we were on the nightcap, I was like, you were going to put me on the show when you did.
And what better way to put you on the show than a hefty topic? And it looks like you are ready for this topic because, some of the origins of this new Bloodline kind of started with the Bullet Club, right? But before they can get into that, people might be wondering, well, why is a sports guy on Championship Culture? Tell them why a sports guy, a host of multiple things, all things sports. And we're not going to hold it against you that you like the Panthers. We're just going to accept that you made a bad choice in life. But you can redeem yourself right now. Tell the people, who is Shannon Smith?
Well, I will say this, though. You can trash me on my football teams all day long. You might give me a little more because I'm actually a 49ers fan full time. I cover the Panthers because I live in the North Carolina area. I live about maybe an hour away from the Panthers Stadium, Bank of America Stadium. And, it's good to go for the home team. You want the home team, you got affinity for the home team. That's how I am. But, I enjoy the Panthers podcast regardless of how the season's been going. I've been enjoying it. But the reason why I'm on this show is because I cover Barrage of Sports on a sports show. But I am a firm believer that professional wrestling is the ultimate gentleman's sport. So I look forward to this. I look forward to talking wrestling. I'm here.
Which is exciting because look who's in the comments. And remember, I said that, we got to do this because I know he said that and did this when he did this. Mr. Mike from Mouth and Off of Mike, another member of Boom Broadcasting, right? And we know this is Hugh's favorite, his birthday twin. We're just going to leave it at that because he had to let it be known that Carolina was in the house. But I'm interested to see what's their take on the topic for tonight. Why the new bloodline is so dangerous, right? And we always talk about this because somebody who watches sports, you got to watch each play. You got to know the history, right? You got to know how we got to this point. We got to know how this person got signed, what they did in their college years, sometimes even high school years, what they did on the previous teams. You got to know what they did on that previous team might be why they're so good at this team or a history to it, right? So what better person that actually followed multiple wrestling companies, just like he follows multiple sports teams, to literally have this conversation. But before we do, Niram, we're not acknowledging that. I'm just letting you know that you are not Dwayne's favorite. Just you are my favorite for one day. And of course, Justin is here saying it must be Tuesday. And Justin, I can't wait for your take as to why the new bloodline is so dangerous. So we said it at the top of the show, right? We're going to have Survivor Series, right? And everybody's wondering because for weeks on weeks on weeks, we kept seeing Roman Reigns just get beat down, And I said, they're following the footsteps of greatness on a different level for a reason, right? But what really makes this new bloodline so dangerous? And I want to start off with one person because he's truly the powerhouse, right?
Oh, yeah.
And that person, none other than Bronson Reed. Known for his dominance in the ring, and he's had a huge transformation from what we saw in NXT to his time in New Japan to down back to WWE, right? Mm-hmm. But how does a monster heel prove his worth on his stage and bring dominance, right? Because in New Japan, we saw him do some things in 2021 and 2022. Short time, but it was notable because he defeated, do you remember who he defeated while he was in New Japan?
He had a key victory over Kazuchika Okada. I do know that one.
And you know when it was?
Hmm?
You know what it was? Because this is going to blow people's mind because not a lot of people know it was in the G1 Climax.
Yeah.
Which is a huge deal because not only did he defeat Mr. New Japan, because let's call it what it is. Yeah. Before he came to AEW, Okada was New Japan, right?
Yes.
And for this guy to leave NXT, who had a run beforehand because he had a lot of accolades prior to NXT because he was huge in his back where he's from, and we're going to get to that. But it was crazy because he fit in with the brutal style of New Japan, and then he brought that back to WWE. So, yeah, his reputation as a powerhouse against Tomohiro Ishii, Jeff Cobb, But could Bronson Reed's time at New Japan make him the ultimate weapon or like the secret weapon for the bloodline this Saturday?
Absolutely, because you know how it is. You've been watching the sport a long time. Most of these wrestlers go to Japan because Japan loves their pro wrestling. Any promotion, like the promotions that Japan has, that's got to be some of the best professional wrestling in all of the world. So the fact that he went there and actually scored key victories between Kazuchika Okada, which, like you said, Mr. New Japan, he's always going to be. He's the legend, the Rainmaker. And he goes in there and he brings that to WWE, which is on a worldwide front. This is going to be good. This is very good. I like the fact that you brought that up, too, because I'm sitting here thinking, I don't want to do that. And I was like, Jonah done this right here, man. He did this. And so I was like, wow. Come into WWE having and they're making him a heel. They're making him a really good heel right now. Making him a powerhouse, making him a formidable heel, and having a key victory like that in New Japan is going to make him a lot better wherever he goes.
And it's crazy because we know that they have a brutal style over there, right? We know that it's known as like strong style, and there's different types of things when it comes to New Japan. But the thing that got me the most is his finisher was so different than any other big man. We've seen big men do moonsaults. We've seen them do Spanish flies. Not as their finisher, but it's like there was attraction. But in Tsunami Splash, It became devastating in one night. And myself and Brother Hugh were there on Monday Night Raw when I think he gave Seth Rollins like 8 or 10. It was something outrageous that he just kept doing it. And that kind of like solidified him as this is a different big man and this is a giant and this is something that he can do. And it was something as simple as multiple times. The crowd kept going, yeah, one more time, one more time, one more time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Could this moment on Saturday be the breakout moment for Bronson Reed?
Oh, he needs it. I don't. Why in the world would they be inserting him in this if this wasn't going to do him any type of good? You know, one thing that we've been seeing with WWE is long-term selling because they put him in a rivalry with Seth Rollins, who was a part of the Shield, and then they put him with the Bloodline, where Roman Reigns has a direct impact too. So more or less, he's going to do his best to take out what's left of the Shield. So I like this. I mean, this was good. This was good booking. This is a smart move to make Bronson Reed a true monster heel, which is what WWE needs.
And it's crazy because, and I mentioned this, and I'm gonna take you back a little bit. We knew that he was in WWE, but his time before he got to WWE, he was part of the MCW, not Maryland Championship Wrestling, but Melbourne City Wrestling. He was a World Heavyweight Champion, Tag Team Champion, Intercommonwealth Champion, 2017 Ballroom Brawler. He was a Triple Crown Champion. He was the North NWA Australia Wrestling Alliance Heavyweight Champion, the Queensland Double Crown Champion, PPW Heavyweight Champion, PWA Heavyweight Champion, ranked number 73 of the top 500 of PWI in 2021, the year he left WWE and the year he was none other than the North American Champion, which we seem to forget because this was a time when this belt was making the next breakout star. As soon as he got his hands on this gold, he was ripped from us, sent to New Japan, kept that trajectory going. So my question to you here, out of all his accolades, is it more important that he became a monster heel than holding a title?
Whoa. Man, you waste no time asking questions. If you want to look at it like that, I think it is good to make him a monster heel because what have they been doing with champions lately? The heels have been carrying championships. And one thing that you got to look at with wrestling is that when a heel has the championship, the next star is chasing after that heel. The chase is attractive. The chase is good because that a face character is getting beat down. The crowd loves him. The crowd is behind him. The crowd's trying to get him propelled over the heel. It's good TV. It's good wrestling. And it's good booking because what's the heel going to do? Take the title and leave. He's not going to give the title relevance, so he's going to make the title more of mine. No one's going to take it because you're not going to wrestle. And that's something that Bronson Reed can do. Now, mind you, he's going to be one of those underhanded champions if he puts the title on. He's going to be an underhanded a monster heel. He's going to do that. So monster heels and regular are very different because monster heels are going to be underhanded and use size and power and strength to make everybody mad because they're going to use all their size, their power, their strength, and be destructive, which is what monster heels do. So I would say it's better to make him a monster heel now and then put a title on him later because that makes him more disgusting, more despised, more hated. And the next babyface can run after him.
Which is a good point. And it's crazy because this belt was making the new wave of superstars for NXT. They were making them kind of like the stars that we enjoy now held this belt. Carmelo Hayes, Johnny Gargano, different people, Damian Priest. Yep. A lot of these guys that we're enjoying now held this belt during their time at NXT. And I don't think we ever got to see what he can do, but we saw that in New Japan. But when he got there, something else happened in New Japan. It became a, what's the word I'm looking for? Mass exodus with New Japan, right? People start leaving.
Yep.
And they lost one of their most decorated tag teams there, right? But I'm asking this: what makes a tag team not just dominant but legendary across multiple promotions? Because there's a lot of tag teams that do that, and I want you to hold on to that, right? Because in New Japan, we saw a 7-time IWGP Tag Team Champion be born from that same faction that you're wearing on your shirt, right?
Oh yeah.
How did the Gorillas of Destiny, if you haven't noticed what I'm talking about, 7-time Tag Team Championship reign, establish them as a great tag team within New Japan?
They were great heels. That was why. To me, they were great heels because as a heel tag team, they were fun to watch. Like when Bullet Club actually had a heel side to them, and Tongaloa and Tamatonga were a tag team that was entertaining. Now, mind you, they could wrestle. Like, of course, they're not going to put titles on guys who can't wrestle in New Japan. Maybe other places, but not in New Japan. You're going to have to wrestle. You have to earn yours and make your bones. But with them, they were entertaining, but yet they were good wrestlers, but they were wonderful heels. Like, Tonga had that whole gimmick where he was good guy Tamatonga, and everybody absolutely hated it. And then when he went back to being a heel, people loved him. He was with the Bullet Club when Bullet Club was a heel faction. He knows how to be a very good heel. His brother does as well too. So it's just the fact that they were able to be controlling the crowd. They control the crowd as heels. That to me is what does it.
And see, and I'm gonna give you another tidbit. So when we had the Gorillas of Destiny / Bullet Club, they were defeating beloved tag teams. They defeated the Briscoe brothers. They lost to teams like Chaos. But when you defeat the Briscoe brothers, when you actually defeat War Machine, as we know him now, not the Viking Raiders, War Machine, and have a knockdown drag out classic with that, and then you keep coming back to it, but you keep winning in bigger fashion, it kind of makes the tag team reign more important because you're giving them the best. You're giving them these tag teams that had proven that. So we knew what the Briscoes can do in ROH. We knew what War Machine was doing on the indie scene. But one important team that they went to war with, the Young Bucks. So here we are with the Young Bucks, and this is go back to 2018, right?
Yep.
They're taking on, they had already beat the best tag teams that were in the scene, right? And when I say the scene, I don't want to say indie scene because it was more than just the indies. It was those tag teams that were established, that were almost like in wrestling fans' conversations, right? So we had all these tag teams, right? And the battles with these teams became more iconic than the belt itself because it really made you establish they were just in New Japan. They were other places, but they made their name in New Japan. These teams came to them. The Young Bucks made their name in the United States in multiple different places, then went to Japan to get more over. The Briscoes were ROH through and through. War Raiders, ROH, PWG, every way you can think of, they're making a name for themselves, but they're all going there to fight the Gorillas of Destiny. They're going there to challenge them. Did this establish a dominance, or did this establish a standard?
A dominance, because anytime you've got teams coming to you wanting to wrestle you from different organizations, that's dominance. Because basically what they're saying is, okay, who have we not beaten yet? There's this list of these tag teams right here. Who have we not beaten? Oh, Gorillas of Destiny. Where are they at? At the daggum top. So of course, if they beat GOD, what's that going to put them? At the top. That's going to put them over. That's going to make them more formidable to the world. That's dominance to me, because you don't see Gorillas of Destiny going out here saying, hey, I'm going to wrestle these guys. No, they're coming to them. So this is dominance right here. Anytime you're ever sought after, you win.
So now let's think about this. We had those teams come to them, and they did something in the reverse of what the other teams did. They came to the United States and challenged for and I know the realness is this is gonna make the notes for tomorrow. One of the better looking ROH tag team belts, and I'm gonna break up a little bit because I'm gonna talk about everybody has a story, right? They challenged for the Briscoes for this tag team title. In season 1, we talked about how looks can be deceiving. This looks like a world title. This looks like a big deal, and this is one of the belts that Gorillas of Destiny's actually held, and it was crazy because I remember seeing that match against the Briscoes. I was like, "There's a lot of chemistry there," and I'm just wondering. This is just a side note. Is because it's two sets of brothers that trust each other? Is it because they trust them because of what they did in New Japan? The Briscoes proved themselves that they could hang with them, and so did the Gorillas of Destiny at the same time. And it's insane because this one reign kind of meant yep, y'all are in that conversation as the top tag team in the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
So is it the fact that they did all of that in New Japan and now here they are in ROH that makes them that dominance because they felt the need? We had the top prize, but we want to come get that belt. We want to come get that from them. Do you think that played a factor in what we're seeing today?
It would have to, because even though New Japan, you also got to look at the time frame as well too. See, this is when the WWE was kind of dropping off. You were looking at New Japan like being the WWE was not the creme de la creme, even though they had the money, even though they had the TV, even though they had everything going on. But when everyone started putting their eyes on the world, because the world was having the better matches, the world was having the top tier wrestling. You were seeing very, very good wrestling in New Japan, in ROH, GCW. You were seeing good wrestling over in these organizations. Yeah, no one wanted to touch the WWE at that time because they didn't trust them. But ROH, New Japan, started getting followings. That's around the time I started watching it, because I'm like, man, this is better stuff. This is more entertaining wrestling. This is better product to me. Who cares if they're not making multi-millions and on Monday and Thursday and Friday night? Forget about it. I'll take it. I'll get Access TV and watch them. So what? I'm going to enjoy it because this is going to be a better product. But also the reason why it was a better product is because these guys went out there and took on everybody that they could. They took on everyone with a championship. So Gorillas of Destiny going to ROH, they wanted to say, hey, look, we're not dealing with them. We're going to go after y'all because we know that you're great. And then the other teams are like, come on.
And I just want to correct myself. They lost the belts back to the Briscoe. I'm sorry. I know I said they won them from. I meant that they lost. But that match to me was like, yep, they are in that conversation. And was Anita an actual member of it? Oh, he was just affiliate. I might have to look that up. I do not remember that. But he just made a good point. And to that round point, Gorillas of Destiny was a name my non-wrestling friends actually knew during their interest in their face paint. Yep. They made themselves stand out. They were doing in a world where, we were trying to do things to make people recognize you. Like I always think about when, boom, right there. Mm-hmm. So this is what a lot of people remember, the face paint, the mask that they wore. Even when the mask had the light ups, I think it was in ROH, Final Battle, the mask lit up. But this was literally, and then it's crazy because that ape is what the Alphas use, the Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. They use that ape in a lot of their stuff too. But now you're recognizing them. People are starting to realize that, oh, these guys are a big deal, and they've never been to one of the top companies in the United States. Yes, we could talk about all of the aliases of Tama Long. Which one is Camacho? I swear I get them confused every single time. We could talk about Tonga Loa. We could talk about all his aliases and all his variations of his name. But at the end of the day, when you get yourself over without being in the WWE, without being in TNA or ROH, because at the time, these were the bigger companies. AEW hadn't come along yet. Mm-hmm. And to Nick Ramport, he said, talking about NXT when he said, maybe another place, but put titles of people. Okay. We know that you have a love-hate relationship with NXT. We know he had to fit that in. He would have.
so much hate for Trick.
And
so much.
and we're gonna get back to belts because I promise you, we're gonna prove why this bloodline is so dangerous, right? Mm-hmm. And when you talk about the Guerrillas of Destiny, you can't talk about them without talking about another belt that they held, right? And I'm gonna just hold this up because this is gonna speak for itself, right?
Yep.
When you talk about the 4-time never openweight champions, right? And it was a lot of combination because we know when it comes to 6-man, and this is when Nick Ram is going to cringe a little because he hates 6-man belts. If you want to see why, check out the episode of season 2 when Nick Ram was on, and he had a whole rant about the 6-man, the name, the trios. He had a whole, but we're gonna leave that alone because I don't want to get him started. But 4 times we saw like the combination of Bad Luck Fale. You kept seeing different combinations, right? But this was just another stepping stone because a lot of times this was a way to get more, not necessarily wrestlers on the card, but it was a way to show more attention and maybe break up this. But what I really want to talk about is a member of the Guerrillas of Destiny who actually had a run. I'm sorry, they had this 4 times because he had the never open weight, the regular championship 4 times as well, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm gonna ask you, even though it was 2022, and this is during that weird time, I'm gonna take you back. Remember, the Good Brothers got signed with WWE, and everybody was confused, right? Because remember, one of them was holding this belt right here. The other never open weight, which is considered the other belt in New Japan, and not necessarily not the second tier. It's just the other belt because we knew at the time the second belt was the Intercontinental title that was being retired, but the U.S. had stepped into that. But then we were in the process of introducing the global. No, I think the global came in 23. So we had the U.S. title, but then that's when Will Ospreay was doing the UK championship, but we still had this other belt. So we saw that this was on Carl Anderson's, his name was attached to it, but he was a WWE wrestler, right? Mm-hmm. And in 2022, Carl Anderson was claiming this title, right?
Yes.
But who was he facing for this? He had to go back to New Japan. And who did he drop it to? None other than Tama Tonga, right? How significant was that Tama Tonga never open weight championship showcased him what he could do? Because remember, at this time, we knew him as a tag team specialist. We knew him as a 6-man specialist. We knew that he had multiple partners. We knew that he had all these accolades in different ways, more than his brother. But now they want to establish and show him as a single star, not with the second belt, but the other title. Mm-hmm. How important was this for him?
Versatility's sake. Sometimes you got guys who are tag team wrestlers only, but can't do everything. Like, look at when WCW decided to put their stock in Booker T. Booker T was a tag team wrestler. Harlem Heat was a wonderful tag team, but they saw potential in Booker T, and you saw how that went. Booker T went and he skyrocketed. He held the United States title, held the WCW championship 5 times, 5 times, 5 times, 5 times, 5 times. So that shows versatility. The fact that Tonga can wrestle singles and that they're willing to push him. But to segue into a question I have for you, Brandon, this always bothers me for some odd reason as a Bullet Club guy. Okay, so Thomas one of the members, one of the very first members of Bullet Club. Why didn't he lead them?
Because you had bonafide single stars that were the leader. If you think about the Bullet Club leader was always a single star. I'm not going to talk about that time when they were like, oh, we're all leaders, all that stuff. I'm talking about, think about from the inception. Finn Balor, clearly the single star, even though he was the New Japan Junior Heavyweight Champion at times, but then look who took over after him. We went from AJ Styles to Kenny Omega. It's always been a individual star leading. And I don't know if they were grooming him for it, but he couldn't. And I'm going to get to why I think he didn't, because he was winning the other championship. And I don't want to compare it to like the digital media or the European title or the television champion or the national championship, which we'll get to later. I'm just saying this was the other title, right? And it was a way to have another championship, but another, chance to showcase those wrestlers, right? Because remember when he first won it in 2022, it was against Evil. And remember, Evil was on like his second resurgence of, no, probably like his 10th at this time, resurgence of his career, right? So it's like when he beat Evil, it was like, wait a minute, not the tag team guy did it, because oftentimes we've seen it where members of FTR do singles wrestling. You're like, oh, I forgot they were good. We saw when Ivar went at it alone. We've seen it when we forget that certain tag teams were individual stars. Like, think about when DIY went their separate ways. We were introduced to them through the Cruiserweight Classic in WWE form, but we knew following them they were individual stars. But then it's like when they broke out, you're like, oh yeah, they can wrestle. Or like when you see certain people that are like Matt and Nick Jackson, when they wrestle singles, you're like, oh, they actually can do single. They actually can do singles wrestling. And I think by them doing that, because remember, he beat Evil, right?
Yep.
And when he beat Evil, it was kind of like a shocker. But then he also beat Carl Anderson, right? Yeah. And then he beat David Finlay. Now, granted, he lost to David Finlay, but then Shingo Takagi, he beat him. But then he dropped it back to Evil, but that was almost 2 years later. But we know what happened in 2024. It was like the end of his run. But David Finlay was their next guy. And it was like, uh-oh, you're having this guy. Okay, I'm into it. I'm with it. But I don't know if what he did, his victories over people like Jay White for the number one title, or it was actually because he was beating these established stars, was that enough to put him on a separate trajectory as a single star?
I would think so. I mean, I would definitely think so. With the way that was going, and then later on he went to WWE.
He was the first one to pop out, remember, after WrestleMania.
And he was corresponding back and forth on X with other Bloodline members. He was corresponding with Roman Reigns. And so it was those things like, wouldn't it be cool if this happened? All of a sudden it happened. It was like, man, we're watching down next week. What's coming out? We're like, what?
He came out, and that tells you if that's the person that you debuted first to start this new bloodline, it's a reason we got to ask that question. And we still going to answer, because I just want people to understand where we were and how we got to this point. Mm-hmm. We already know that Bronson Reed became Jonah, who became Big Bronson Reed. Let's just say that. We went from the Bullet Club to the Gorillas of Destiny to the Tongans now and the new bloodline, right? Mm-hmm. And we still got another member to talk about this bloodline, but we're going to take a break and listen to some from our sponsors, and we'll be back because we're going to get to this. And I promise you, we got more to talk about. We're going to hear a word from our sponsors. We'll be right back.
If you're looking to purchase tickets to concerts, live shows, sporting events, and more, head over to SeatGeek.com where you can use our promo code Wrestling Realm for any one-time purchase of $50 or more. That's promo code Wrestling Realm on any one-time purchase of $50 or more.
Oh, man. So this is where I'm going to need the people in the comments to chime in, because I don't know if they understand the significance of what happens when a man that dominates the entire promotion, not that guy, when a man dominates an entire promotion that he had in the indie scene, they don't cool him off, they don't change him, he sheds some weight and gets more dangerous. The commentators are putting him over. The things that he's doing in the ring are keep leaving you. It's like they keep giving you this delicious appetizer, and you're like, but I'm still hungry. I'm waiting for my main course. I'm waiting, and we're waiting for it, right? And we get a Samoan werewolf. And he went from dominating MLW and carving a path for independence where people talked about him just as much as they talked about the OG bloodline at the time. And his journey has been nothing but explosive till when he debuted, when he continues to wrestle, even when he hurt his foot, and we thought that it was like everybody was shocked, right? Even to his current poses and his "I love you Solo," all of this stuff, right? How do we get somebody so dangerous? And we can read the reports about, oh, he's going to overshadow Solo. Okay, he did. And what are we going to do? We still want more. They only given us a little bit. They haven't really unleashed what we saw. And when I say what we saw, because what I'm talking about is, even though he was a one-time MLW champion for 800 and, was it 64? 800 and, I'm trying to remember the thing. Help me out. I should have remembered this. 800 and, how many days was it?
19.
119. 819 days, we saw somebody dominate. And when I say dominate, when this man, and that's the one belt I didn't grab, I'm going to let you as is. This man, we talk about it before WWE started doing 666, 13-12 for Roman Reigns. Before we start seeing the longest reign of SmackDown, one of the longest reigning women's champion in modern history, before we start seeing these, we had this number that was turn up one promotion. He held it from July 2019 until 2021, right? Devastating power, high flying move, explosiveness, right? What made Jacob Fatu stand out so much? I'm gonna just start with that.
Ability. I mean, the man can go. Like he can go. There's been a lot of stuff that I've seen with Jacob that has been incredible out of wrestlers. The man can go. And he's entertaining as crap, which is another thing. So he's real entertaining as well, too. But the man can just go in the ring. I mean, that's what I like about Jacob, is that he's a daredevil and when you need him to be. He's a technical guy when you need him to be. He's an entertainer. He knows how to manipulate a ring. And that's very, very uncharacteristic wrestler. He's a draw. Friggin' draw.
And so, and here's what I don't know if people really understand, right? Jacob Fatu is a latecomer to the industry, and some people are just naturally gifted, some people are just naturally talented. But he took something and said, okay, how can I'd say this a lot about Chelsea Green. Every moment she's on TV, she maximizes those seconds, right?
Mm-hmm.
When that bell rung, he maximized every inch of that mat to let you see, look how special I am. Look what I can do. No matter my size, no matter what you thought, whether I got on shoes or what I'm wearing, you're going to notice me and you're going to remember this moment. You're going to remember that. And Jacob Fatu keeps us remembering these moments. And we could talk about the 819 days because that was probably the standout moment for him because it was something different. Mm-hmm. He made this belt more recognizable. Yeah, the first iteration was cool. You know, it was there. Then it got, MLW stopped running shows. But then when they came back, nobody noticed this belt, honestly, until Jacob Fatu had it, right?
Yeah.
But what was so special at that time about this run? I'm going to see if you know what was so special. Let's see.
What was so special about the run? I really don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know. I mean, I'm going to go and let you have that one. I don't know.
So this is during the time COVID is happening. We're trying to do things to keep us entertained, right? And the reason I'm saying I want to see if you knew what was so special, right? Mm-hmm. It had just been reactivated a few years ago, right? Before this, right? Okay. Think about it. It just got reactivated and everything, right? And it was other people that held it. But in his loss, it made more eyes on the product because look who he lost it to. This man was coming off of the heels of being the indie god. Everybody's been paying attention to me over here. And I'm going to the guy that makes everybody pay attention. Oh, Matt Cardona took the title off him, and it was a shocker because we were like, oh, that just happened.
That's
But I'm confused because if you think about it, right, that was during a time when we were watching wrestling in different spaces. We were watching wrestling in different ways, right? And for Matt Cardona to come, and I'm gonna just say this because it was a thing where like on April 18th, 2019, they announced the creation of the National Heavyweight Championship, and that gave people something else to fight for too. So now we had the world title here, and then we had the national title there, right?
Mhm.
But on the scale of, oh, which one am I going for? Which one is more important? People were watching what Jacob was doing at MLW. MLW was starting to become more synonymous with, you have WWE, AEW, and it's always been like TNA, and then somebody else like a ROH.
Mhm.
TNA, CZW. Then it became TNA, House of Glory, TNA, GCW. But now we have TNA, MLW, Jacob Fatu. It was almost like it was synonymous with that. And he made you pay attention to that company so much so that his combination of all his moves, everything he was doing, it's like, how did that translate straight to WWE? Because everybody remembers that. We don't remember his national run when he beat Johnny Hennigan, Johnny Wrestling, Johnny Mundo, Johnny Drip Drip, Johnny Nitro, all of those things, right? We don't remember that national run because it was a short amount of time, but that was like going from the world titles to the Intercontinental title when I made the world title the most important thing. And it's like, oh, okay, who knows why I got the secondary title and I don't have the same oomph to it, right?
Mhm.
But I think people seem to remember that MLW run because that's what's been translated over to WWE. What say you, brother? You think that's accurate, or you think that's a far reach?
It would have to be. I mean, he came in white hot already, because there was already talk from like months before he even made a debut that he's done with Major League Wrestling. He's gonna be going over to WWE. He's gonna join the Bloodline. That was said months in advance. It was only a matter of time. So of course, why would you not strike when the iron's hot? Considering the fact he was one of the longest running champions in Major League Wrestling, why would you not do that? I mean, of course, there's not going to be any mention made of it, but if you were a wrestling fan, you know this. You know the momentum that he had. You know what he brought to Major League Wrestling. You know what he brought to the world. When he was one of the biggest draws out there in the wrestling world, and he goes to WWE, you knew what was about to happen. So, of course, they struck while the iron was hot. Good job.
And I'm glad they did because I'm glad he didn't have to go the path of NXT to main roster. He actually went indie scene main roster. But when he made the main roster, he still had the Jacob Fatu look, but it was something different. It was a little edgier. They said about how he shed weight, but he could still move. He was moving when he was heavier. You know what I mean? And he moved like he was a light heavyweight. We had seen the people like Keith Lee move as a big guy, but Jacob was moving a little different. We can talk about all those meat matches they had. I think it was Jacob Fatu, and he might have to correct me if I'm wrong. What's his name? Oh, Keith Lee, Jonah, and Jacob. I think they had a match in House of Glory, and I'm not for sure, but I know he'll fact check me on that. But it was crazy because when you think about these things, you can't compare Jacob's style of wrestling what we had been conditioned to see with the Samoan style, right? Because we were used to a certain style. But it's like he took and blended everything and did something different to surpass some of the legacies because, Samoa drop, spike, super kick, type of thing. He was doing stuff that we didn't see Yokozuna do moonsault. We didn't see Umaga do any kind of flips off the top rope. I don't want to call it a whisper and win, but the 450 style flips. It was something different, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does his agileness or his ability to be agile, does that make him one of the most dangerous wrestlers? And I'm saying this because it's unexpected. Nobody expects him to do what he was doing in the ring. Does that make him most dangerous?
It would have to. I mean, would have to, because of course with him being a big wrestler, he's not as big as Reed, of course, but with him being a larger sized wrestler, and him doing that, there's just something intriguing about a big man doing something like that. When Vader hit the moonsault in WCW, it was cool, because you didn't expect that. When Bam Bam Bigelow done the same thing, like, whoa, this big guy can do this. I mean, dang, so. It's the fact that he is able to do this, and he gives a maximum effort. He's able to be a high flyer. He may not be a high flyer by design, but the fact that he can do that brings another dynamic to the ring.
And so I guess my question is, had he not been a high flyer and stuck to a more traditional way, will we still be having these conversations about why the new bloodline is so dangerous because of this?
No, because look at who they have. They don't have a high flyer on the bloodline. They don't. On the new bloodline, they don't. So that's a dynamic that they have. I mean, you've got a tag team. You've got your leader, your quote unquote leader with Solo Sikoa. You've got someone who probably may go for a singles title, and so your tag team, and you have, and what can Jacob do? Everything. So there you go.
And even his time in House of Glory, like when I mentioned that Matt Cardona defeated him, right? Mm-hmm. And House of Glory, this was a new toy. It was a new thing, and this new shiny thing, right? Mm-hmm. He had been turning up in MLW. He had been turning up, as the MLW World Champion. He's over here as House of Glory Champion, and the King of the Indies taking the belt from him, right?
Yeah.
Would it have been a biggest deal if he didn't have that run? And I'm gonna keep saying it because I'm gonna bring it home why that MLW. Because remember, 819 days was unheard of in that time frame that he held it, because WWE was just starting to pick up steam with the longest reigning. That's when they started to add on stuff. Oh, Roman Reigns was starting his dominance of all of this stuff. The days kept counting because we had a Pete Dunne, we had Walter Gunther with his long reigns, but that was due to the belt just being held, not necessarily being defended or anything different. It was always something different, right? And when you look at the House of Glory Championship, it actually was, is it a death match or is it unexpected? Because that's really what it was about, because now you have somebody who, 200 days into his run, he dropped it, but it was okay because we wanted to see what his next chapter was. We wanted to see what the next thing was. Hence why he kind of disappeared for a little bit, probably ecstatic about joining WWE. Yeah, he shed some weight, and now we got the evolution of, now we have the Samoan werewolf, right?
Yep.
And, sorry. So that brings us to the leader. I'm not going to call him the tribal chief of the new bloodline. I'm just going to say, because I gave him trouble. I said he was a Timu version of the Weekend when he was dressing up with those certain outfits. I'm not going to acknowledge Solo as my tribal chief. I'm just not. And I don't know if anybody in the comments want to. I don't know if anybody want to watch it. I'm not going to acknowledge him as my tribal chief, because are you acknowledging him?
No.
It's fine if you do. I'm not, right? And I'm not, because we still got to figure out, now that we know some of the accolades, we know some of the things that these bloodline has done. Now when you look at the leader, who has, in all actuality, not that guy, he keeps ladies and gentlemen, if you've missed it, he put the brother that has 27 different aliases on the screen when I said the leader of the bloodline. But we talk about, we went from Bronson Reed to Jonah to Big Bronson Reed. Evolution, right? Kind of like 3 stages of a Pokemon, if you think about it. Then we went from the Bullet Club to the Gorillas of Destiny to the Tongans, right? Mm-hmm. Then we went from Jacob Fatu to the Samoan Werewolf, everything that's been involving, all of these things that we've been seeing, paying attention to, hoping, even when the Gorillas of Destiny called out the Usos and called out FTR. Okay, cool. We understand why they don't give him a mic. Just tell him in the ring. We get that part, right? Because this faction, honestly, is very important to the new Bloodline because you have an unpredictable Jacob Fatu. You have Bronson Reed making the new Bloodline more dangerous because what he was doing on Monday Night Raw. He's kind of like a powerhouse, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Gorillas of Destiny in the conversation for the greatest tag team or greatest faction from Bullet Club to join WWE, right? Because a lot of the members of the Bullet Club are in the WWE.
Yep.
But is this, if they were unleashed, if we saw the Gorillas of Destiny and not the Tongans, if we saw Jonah and not Big Bronson Reed, and if we saw Solo Sikoa as in the Street Fighter, how he came in NXT, how he basically took the North American title away from, him, Carmelo, and Mello don't miss. If we saw this version of the Bloodline, I hate everything about him, and I can't get to take that off. That's why he hasn't been on the screen, ladies and gentlemen. Now you made me lost my thought. But I want you to think about this. Is this where this is the most dangerous faction WWE has ever assembled?
Ever assembled? They have to be in the conversation.
All right, well, why are they in the conversation and not just the end? Because we could talk about Evolution with Ric Flair. Ric Flair was at his prime. He was still having runs. Triple H was, we had already seen that. Batista was up and coming. Randy was up and coming. So they really weren't dangerous, right?
Right.
And when I should say dangerous and most unpredictable, right?
Oh,
DX, same thing. Up and coming. They were establishing themselves there in WWE, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm saying. Is this the most dangerous faction WWE has ever assembled?
When you put it that way, it would have to be. I mean, with the pedigree that these guys have, I like the way that this is being put together, because there's a backstory to all these guys. Can you say that for any of the other factions around? I mean, can you say that? This was well thought out. But that's what I like about this. They took elements from the past, put it together in order to show its relevance and why you're putting these people here and putting them together. It's not just one of those bad things. Oh, we'll put these four guys together because they look good together, or everybody likes them, or nobody likes them. This was well thought out, so I can say that. I think they have to be a very dangerous group, considering the fact that you put all those parameters together.
And I'm saying people can say, "Oh no, the OG Bloodline is more dangerous." The problem with the OG Bloodline, we saw the Usos come up in the WWE. Mm-hmm. We don't know how great or how dangerous they can be because we didn't see them in New Japan. We didn't see them hit the Indies. We didn't see that. We saw them come from Booker T's wrestling school, FCW to WWE, right?
Mm-hmm.
We saw Roman Reigns, the same trajectory, right?
Yep.
We can talk about who their parents are all day. Great. We can talk about Sami Zayn, El Generico to Sami Zayn. But you can't talk about the Street Fighter. The Street Champ, Solo, and his name was, I meant to look it up. I forgot what his name was on the Indies, right? He looked like a baby Uso at first, but his evolution in NXT was totally different than what we're getting now. And the same thing about Jacob Fatu, the Tongans, and even Bronson Reed when he was Jonah Rock in his original thing. Mm-hmm. So what say you, Hugh? Because I know you jumped in just for this conversation because we start talking about your tribal chief.
That's not my tribal chief. Don't do that. Don't disrespect.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Shout out to Solo though, because his character work is phenomenal now. Like he's really evolving his character, and he's freaking hilarious.
Oh yeah.
Just gonna leave it at that. He's freaking hilarious. But what you were saying about them being one of the most dangerous factions out there, I would say possibly yes, because Like if you think about it in sports terms, you have your rookies when you come up to the major leagues or you go to the professional or the higher, the elite level. You don't have too much work or research or homework on a certain rookie, right? He
True.
can go out there and dominate, right? For the most part, until you catch up with it. Like say week 6 in football, week 6. Now you have some homework on them, right? These guys are more like we knew about them, but we didn't know about them.
Uh,
You see what I'm saying? They're unleashed. They're unhinged. They're savages. None of the other factions that I could think of really were like that. Right off top. If you think about it, they're all young, they're all hungry, they're all trying to make their well, let me take that back. Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, they're not young. They're new to the WWE product. So with them coming in, they have something to prove, right?
mhm.
So they take on the persona of being unhinged and savages, and they come in and they just wreck everything, kind of like what the Shield did. It makes sense. It makes sense for them to be like that.
Yep.
Now you have the OG bloodline. The OG bloodline is just kind of like they're real strategic. You know, these guys are just everywhere. They're animals, and that's
But
what I
there are
love.
two major differences. The one thing, Paul Heyman said, it's a reason we didn't go get them.
Absolutely.
That's one.
That's
And
wild.
two, if you talk about decorated teams, yes, the Usos are just as decorated as the Gorillas of Destiny.
Yeah.
Sami Zayn is just as decorated as Jacob Fatu.
Mm.
You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying it. Nobody is on Roman's level with the championships and accolades that he have. Not
Absolutely.
saying that. You get what I'm saying? Because that's a different level. We
Right.
can all agree that's a different level. You take Roman out of the equation, yes, they are the tag team, which is the core of it. The Usos have just as many accolades in WWE, and I think they had a run of FCW tag team champions, right?
Mhm.
As the
Yeah.
Gorillas of Destiny did. Whether it be never open weight 6-man, never open weight, champion, New Japan IWGP
Absolutely.
heavyweight tag team champion, ROH tag team champion. They had the same accolades pound for pound. It's just that this was in the WWE and this was in New Japan and other places.
Elsewhere, right?
But remember, to Shannon's point, at one time, we loved New Japan and we were in love with AEW at first because WWE was so bad.
Yeah.
But now that WWE has gotten so good, they're letting us know, hey, Motor City Machine Guns are your favorite tag team. They're letting us know about their history.
Facts.
They are letting us know about everything so now you can go out and seek it. And I would say anybody, if you want to know what we're waiting for Jacob Fatu to do, just go type in MLW Jacob Fatu and it will not disappoint.
And that's a big boy, Jacob. That's the big
So
boy,
the hits-
Jacob. Right.
And this is the conversation I'm probably going to start, and we probably ain't going to finish it. But I think that this is the most dangerous stable group, whatever you want to call it, faction that the WWE has ever assembled, because this storyline needed some unpredictability and it needed multiple layers. Roman, as good as he was, remember, he was trying to stand up to him at first.
Yep.
He was holding his own. But then I've never seen our tribal chief get so beat down that it's like multiple weeks. It's like, oh, and even when Realness was like, look how disheveled he is. Even when he got his troops back, he was still messed up, right? Because even though they might have taken losses here, they might have taken losses there, they were to the point. Yes, Solo was North American champion.
Mm-hmm.
The Gorillas of Destinies, Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa were WWE Tag Team Champions. Okay, great. In a short period of time, because they had only been in WWE this is their first year. People don't understand. This is their first year, and then we haven't even made it a year. We're talking about April to November.
Yep.
We haven't even seen what can be unleashed. But the reason we wanted to do a championship culture style is because it's a reason that everybody has a story. Because these stories behind those belts that they had are telling us why. This is probably the most dangerous, unhinged, unpredictable faction that WWE has ever put together. And
They're a pack of hyenas, man. A pack of hyenas. That's perfect.
Yep.
That's a perfect way to describe him, man.
We still got Lance down at NXT taking pictures, smiling. Remember, that was Solo
Yep, it was.
2 years ago, right? Was it 2 years ago? Yeah, was it 2 or 3 years ago?
It was.
Remember, that was Solo
It
smiling,
had to be
being,
3, I
hey, I'm
believe.
here. You know what I mean? That was Sifa. His real name is Sifa, right? That was his name on the Indies, right?
Right.
Right.
You still have a 6'8" monster too that's lurking
Right.
around.
Yeah.
And where's Hikaleo?
Right.
And it got real quiet.
Right.
Yeah.
So Shannon, you're gonna have to defend this. Is there another faction that in a short amount of time has become so dangerous?
The closest would have to be the Shield, but that's the closest. And
No, you can't say that because remember, championship culture style.
but to be
Let's say you defend it.
But to be honest with you, though, with all these parameters here, I don't see with all these parameters that have been made, all these backstories being told. That's hard. That's hard to guard right there, man. That's hard to guard.
And the Shield was assembled to be a dominant force, so we could see it on screen.
Right.
We
Yeah.
saw Dean Ambrose become U.S. champion.
Mhm.
We didn't know what he did in CZW.
No.
Yes, it was a different time in WWE. We can talk about that, but nobody knew what Moxley was or who he was. We just knew Dean Ambrose, right?
That's it.
We knew Tyler Black because that was his storyline when he left ROH, and we knew he was the first ever NXT champion
Right.
that dyed his hair blonde so he could be different than the other people with black hair. You know, and he said he had to put a blonde patch so you knew the difference in him and anybody else because they all had the same style and they all had the same body shape, right?
Right.
And then you had a Joe who became Roman, who was swapped out. Let's call it what it is. He wasn't the original member. He was swapped out and put into a group. It worked. It paid off. But we had to watch dog food get smeared on him. We had to watch his main event moments get shifted to another person. We had to sit and watch and say, make sure this man is healthy. We watched him through the WWE, like, go home, get healthy. Came back, great, he's here.
Right.
We watched these things unfold in front of us. But for this new bloodline, the reason they're so dangerous, we had to go seek out to watch them.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
We had to go other places to see. And when they came, you're like, well, who's this Tama Tonga on my screen? Why should I care about him? Why is he taking out my Jimmy Uso?
And you also got to bring it to the point where they tried so hard to make Roman Reigns a household name, and it didn't work.
Yeah, blue-eyed Roman. Yep.
Suffering succotash.
Yes, they gave him some of the stupidest catchphrases ever. But the only way that Roman Reigns became a viable champion and a viable dude was to be himself. Who would have thought that? He was to be himself. And it worked. I'm just like, man, it took y'all that long to figure that out? Man. Hey, what a waste of time.
And look how long it took for the Shield to get dominant. Look how long it took for the Shield to actually be. We had April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. In 7 months. And we still want the other members. And I'm going to just say the other members because we know Hikaleo is somewhere.
Oh, yeah. There's
We
more.
know where Lance is. You still got, and I pointed this out to you on Monday, you got AOP looking very bloodline-ish because nobody expected Jacob Fatu to join. And I'm not going to mix cultures, but I'm not saying they, just like Dwayne said, just because they look that way doesn't mean they have to. I said it at first. They should have been the ones that joined Roman on the first time when they were talking about he was to wreck everyone and leave and they was going to give him a faction. I was like, there's an AOP right there. That would be perfect. Didn't work with Seth because of injury, but let him have him and let that be his faction. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you got a dangerous person because he's been through an identity crisis from Camacho, Agent T, Donnie Marlowe, Micah, Nuka, Tongaloa, Tongaro, Tafita, Fatia, Tonga, and now Tongaloa. So he's dangerous because he don't even know who he is.
Absolutely.
That's dangerous right there. He don't even know who he is. You got a man, they won't even let him talk, so he just make noises.
This man was Mexican at one point. You got to remember that.
Yeah, he's having an identity crisis. His brother can't formulate sentences. He's just like,
Right. They all messed
he was crawling out through the stage, through the smoke. And you got a man that stands like this the whole time and is committed to this is some dangerous stuff. Yeah. And I don't know if anybody else agrees with me.
Hey.
And it's because of what they did to get these titles, to bring recognition to them. And I'm saying it championship culture style because if it wasn't for those accolades, through those belts, we wouldn't be having this conversation. We would not be nervous about Saturday. Because I don't know about you.
You also got to throw in there that his connection with Haku.
Yep.
We didn't even get to that point.
They used that to put them over.
Haku bit a man's ear off, didn't he?
Perhaps, man. The man's crazy. That's why I'm going to stop talking about his son. So I'm going to chill. I like Haku.
Yeah.
That's my guy.
We love Haku.
Mm-hmm.
If I see him in the next thing and he headbutt me, y'all know what happened.
Hey, I'm running. Just know that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you'll get this one. Look what Justin said. The new bloodline is Black Air Force energy in the flesh.
There it is. That's it.
Yep.
It's that season now, too. Yep.
Ooh, yeah, it is.
So, I'm gonna ask y'all this last question because we still haven't answered. Why is the new bloodline so dangerous, right? And you're probably thinking like this is probably more of a Wrestling Realm, question for Wednesday nights at 10:30 on the flagship show of Wrestling Realm now, right? But because of the accolades and because of everything they did, right? Let's say we strip all that away, all their championships, everything. We strip away the 819, the 4 reigns as tag champions, 4 reigns as, strip all that away. They were just out there hitting the indies and, doing what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Will we take them seriously or will we be even considering having them main event a pay-per-view 7 months into their WWE career if it wasn't for all of that?
If it wasn't for it, because there would be people out there saying, well, why did they get put at the head of the line so quickly? So
y'all know why. One man.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? One man. He said he's ahead of the table for a reason, right?
True.
He put on. He put everybody on. He brought the family through and he's feeding them. He keeps saying it. He kept saying it. The whole time he had that with the 4-year reign.
Yep.
He let you know straight up, I'm the guy that's gonna put food on y'all table.
Ooh.
Fall in line, and we're all gonna eat. The family's gonna stay strong.
That is true. That is true.
And I'm gonna give you
off. I'm sorry.
No, you're right. Because I want to know what Shannon thinks about that. Do you think we would be having this same discussion if it wasn't for all of those? If we didn't say everybody has a story and attach that to all of them, will we be still interested to see this happen on Saturday?
Honestly, with all this stuff right here, I'm even more interested. I mean, I really even more interested. But no, without any of that, we wouldn't be having this discussion. I don't think, because the intrigue wouldn't be there. There would be people wondering, even though we know that Roman Reigns is the reason why, there still would be some guy out there behind the computer and saying, "Well, why did they get a pass? How come they're put at the front of everyone else? What about this guy and this guy and this guy?" But now that is more layers to this. Let's see this match.
Hey.
And we're giving people some reasons to think about why the new bloodline is so dangerous. I'm going to say this real quick, and I want y'all to just marinate on this one. They're so dangerous because we didn't see them grow up in the WWE. We have not seen their highs, and we haven't seen even their lows yet. Think about it. We saw Roman Reigns' low with the dog food. We've seen his high when he hit that mark of being, smashing everybody, leaving, and every next challenger kept throwing out. He kept figuring out how to win. He became the tribal chief, right? We've seen that high. We've seen the Usos at their low, shaving FTR back. We've seen them at the high, unifying the tag team titles, main event in WrestleMania Night 1. We've seen that. in front of us. We as WWE fans have seen that. We've seen Sami Zayn dethrone Gunther at his high. We've seen Sami Zayn win night one of WrestleMania. We've seen him at the low of being the annoying prick backstage complaining about the Intercontinental title. We've seen all that. We've seen him be Shinsuke's mouthpiece. And I'm not saying he's a low. I'm just saying different points in his career. We've seen all of that, right?
You saw the evolution of him, yeah.
Yeah. So we have something to back. This is a different time frame because Triple H is depending on you, like he did on Monday. Go on social media and see things. He's depending on you. Go do some research. He's depending on the commentators to tell you why this is so dangerous. Bronson Reed was a wild card that got added, and it added another layer like, oh, didn't know this was coming.
Mm-hmm.
But now we're not only interested in Saturday, we're interested in Monday and Friday and beyond because whatever happens, even if he takes the pin on Saturday, we still want to see what he's going to do.
Yeah.
We all interested in the order. We want to know if the new bloodline or the OG is going to get the advantage because what if the advantage is Jacob Fatu and Bronson Reed? That's the advantage.
Mm-hmm.
It's them two in the ring against Sammy. Poor Sammy. I mean, we don't know what the advantage is going to be. That's what makes this so dangerous. If it's main event Jay and against one person, okay, he can hold his own because we've seen that. We know what he can do.
Right.
But these group of gentlemen are dangerous.
It's a good thing the OG Bloodline has your favorite wrestler on their side.
Who's their favorite wrestler?
Oh, your favorite wrestler, CM Punk?
Who's my favorite? I'm sorry, what?
CM Punk, you know, your guy.
No, we're talking about why is the new bloodline so dangerous?
I hear that.
Okay, that's the question.
They're very dangerous, but the OG Bloodline, they were outnumbered, right? And they needed extra help. So
But
they needed somebody to push them over the edge, right? So they went and got your favorite wrestler.
Shannon is right. Shannon is right there with the Bullet Club. We gotta ask him. We gotta ask him. We gotta ask him.
You want me to tell you right now what it is? I got you the CM Punk belt for Christmas.
Oh man!
This is.
Shannon,
that's breaking. I'm clipping this off. That's breaking news.
Shannon, what's your final thoughts on this new bloodline?
My final thoughts are I wore my CM Punk hoodie. Man, I'll play it.
Not you too.
I'll play it.
No, because I guess because you like it because it's Carolina blue.
No.
You said that real. No.
On that now, I tried my hardest to. I really thought that I'm like, okay, maybe I was too hard on CM Punk. Maybe I was too hard on him. Maybe I was. And him and Drew McIntyre's their rivalry was Bret the Hitman Hart and Shawn Michaels in 1997. That mess was dope. I was like, this. They're doing this right. So I was like, this is what
we'll do it while we on there.
Good. And then, after it ended, and like boy Wayne talked about Punk saying that he wasted matches in AEW. That was messed up, man. I was like,
I don't know if it's messed up because I know I've been using this term a lot. I didn't have liking a CM Punk match and making MJF my new favorite wrestler at AEW on my 2024 bingo card. I didn't have that on there. I didn't. And after that, because what's the difference in? Because I've never been a CM Punk fan, but Triple H has figured out how to make CM Punk look good in these matches.
Yes,
that's why that strap match. I was so vested in the four corners when they had to. I was so vested in that match, and that was I will go back and watch that match.
Yeah,
from my 2024 because I was like, that was really good. Meeting MJF in person changed my whole perspective about this man. And I don't want to ruin his character. I don't want to ruin anything. I'm just saying, MJF is my new favorite AEW wrestler. And I don't even watch AEW like that. But if MJF is on the screen, I'm going to tune in because he's my new favorite wrestler. He can do no wrong. He's good. Now, CM Punk, on the other hand,
he's not. Don't let him fool you.
But see, I tried to like him though, for real, man. And I did. But then later on, when he said that, talking about, oh, I wasted matches at AEW. I'm like, dude, you would have made it back to WWE if it weren't for AEW. I'm just
last time. So I think because, and I agree with his statement, but I disagree in the manner in which he said it. It was so vague. If you want to say it, say it. Don't leave it up to interpretation.
right.
Because I feel like you wasted some title reigns on you. There was title. You get what I'm saying? So what match wasted? If you're going to say it, say what it is. This match was a waste of my time. This match furthered no storyline. This match had no end game. Say what it really is and say, I'm so grateful that Darby Allin was my first match back in AEW because he carried me during the match. Say it. You get what I'm saying? Like, don't sit here and say that you wasted matches and leave it up for interpretation because you're doing the clickbait thing. You're doing things for, the social so people can keep talking about you, get you back in that conversation because you last told us, I'm banged up. I got to go away for a while. Yep. You get what I'm saying? But now you want to get back in the conversation, which, great. You're a student of the game. You're doing exactly what you need to do as a sports entertainer. Mm-hmm. But don't hit me with that. Don't give me the Cody Rhodes because Cody Rhodes does it great. You did it like, oh, well, come on. What? Tell me what it is. Because all you're going to do is fuel Tony Khan to do something crazy, and then we're going to be irritated with him. Because the last time he mentioned something, the video got released. Yeah. Remember?
Yeah. Wow.
So, and Tony Khan already admitted we ran too many big stadiums, too many big shows. We actually understand what our niche is. We're going to scale it back.
Yeah, we're going to high school gyms now. High school gyms.
But we were supposed to be talking about White Bloodline. See what happens when he get me going about CM Punk.
I mean, see, you get excited when they mention your man, bro. See, I made your day. You're welcome.
Oh man.
So Shannon, I'm gonna do something unprecedented. Okay, I'm going to tell my CM Punk story. Are you ready for my CM Punk story?
Let's go.
Now, I wish Brian H. Waters was here, or I wish April or David Stickle were on this call because this is. I'm gonna tell you how long ago this was. Remember when WWE used to do? They would come in town and be at IHOP for signings or Best Buy for signings.
Wow.
Yeah. Mr. Kennedy was supposed to be at the Best Buy in White Marsh for a signing before this, and this is on a Tuesday before the SmackDown that was taped for Friday. Okay. Yeah, it was I don't remember. I feel like it was a taped SmackDown, right? Mm-hmm. So certain details I might know. That's why I need Brian H. Porter to tell me exactly the date, time. He probably can tell me what the Orioles score was that year. He can take me back to that moment, right?
Well, I was drinking an orange soda at that time, and I had a slice of pizza that had extra pepperoni on it. I was like,
stop it. Right. So we go to Best Buy, right? Yeah. It's me, April, David, Melissa, who just got married, David Jr., and a guy named Kenny that worked with me in April. So David does memorabilia for wrestling. So he gave us some pictures. He was like, hey, do you have anything to get signed? Because now it's CM Punk versus Mr. Kennedy. I think he had got hurt. So CM Punk was a last-minute fill-in, right? Yeah. And this is doing this CM Punk, all right? Stupid-looking, dirty hair. That was that CM Punk. Mm. So we get there, and we're pretty early in the line. We get in there, and April says something like, well, that was rude. And I'm like, what's going on? She was like, okay. So I go up there and I handed him 2 pictures because they said he was signing 2 things. I said, could you make this out to Brandon and then just sign this one? It's for a friend of mine that's not here. Because we were literally taking them back for people that didn't make them. David was not selling. Now, any other time, he would have had 746 things to actually sell. But we were getting them for people, right? But I said, can you sign? Oh, what are you going to do? Sell this one on eBay? It's for somebody that didn't make it. Like, dude, why are you a dick? Like you're just like, okay. So I got mine. So Kenny comes up, and Kenny passed away, so God rest his soul. And he said, hey, can you sign one to me? But matter of fact, can you just sign it to my daughter, Adelina? And all CM Punk said was, how the bloop do I know how to spell that? So everybody was like, what? So it was like he was just angry, like, okay, I get it. Maybe you were waking up early. Maybe you were told you had to go do this and you didn't want to. Okay, fine. But when he said, can you make it out to my daughter, and you said, do I know how to spell that? And was real angry. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So we're leaving, and we're angry. They was like, people will be mad because we were supposed to get pictures signed for other people, right? So as we're leaving, we see a little kid cry. And we're like, what did he do? Now, I don't know what he did to the kid, but if you see a kid walking away from the table crying, what does that tell you? So we go to the show.
Maybe he was happy he met him.
This wasn't tears of joy.
Real. I'm just saying, you know how people. Anyway, I'm shut.
Right.
We go to the show that night to SmackDown. His music hit. Now, he had been getting cheered. And I swear, Baltimore is wrestling country. How they say, this is Ric Flair country, New York.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what anybody say. Baltimore is one of the meccas for things to happen. We started the Yes movement. We've seen a lot of things change hands. WCW has a rich history. ROH,
WWE debut.
We have a lot of things that happen here, right? A lot of historical moments. So this is a historic moment that happened. Soon as his music hit, and I'm in the row with April because we had tickets for the show and everything. His music hit. He got the loudest pop of a boo. It was the first time he had been booed. And all we kept saying was, it's probably how he was treating people at Best Buy. So from that moment on, I never was a CM Punk fan.
See, because I was going to ask if he was a heel at the time, but you just asked my question.
Yeah, he was getting cheered because he was doing this in backstage. Okay. And this is all I remember. Remember, he used to do this before he would come out. And it was always, but he got booed. And you could tell he was like, why are y'all booing me? But I don't know it's because, and you know how, and this is back before social media was heavy. This is back when it's pretty much word of mouth and people were talking about it. So I've never been able to get past that, especially watching him say that. Well, how am I? Because when we see wrestlers, a lot of wrestlers will say, hey, can you spell that for me? Or what do you want me to write? They usually are willing to work with you, except for when they sign an X Division title. But they're usually willing to work with you when it comes to certain things. And for him to just be like, what are you going to do? Sell this on eBay? Or how am I supposed to? He said a curse word, know how to spell that. And I'm like, most of the wrestlers would just say, hey, how do you sign it? But then you meet somebody like a Ric Flair who shakes my hand and say, hey, how you doing? I'm Ric Flair. And my rebuttal to him is, if I don't know your name, why am I here? But he was so humble, so honest. Even when he told his manager, leave me alone. I'm not leaving until I finish with these people.
Right.
A bona fide Hall of Famer is angry at his manager for trying to pull him away from his fans. Mm-hmm. You have Lita, who came off our WWE run, came to Baltimore and literally said, hey, I'm going to go to the back because I want to be respectful to the people that's going to be in the ring. But I promise y'all I will come back after the end of the show, no matter how long it takes, and I will sign everything that y'all want me to sign and take every picture. So you have these classic examples of these people that are doing more, and you're a guy that's trying to make it to that level, and you treat people that way. I could never get past that.
Well,
and these are all...
You're past that now because he's your favorite wrestler because he's the top guy. He's one of the top guys out there now. He's a changed person. Can't you tell? Can't you tell? No, I'm being serious. I'm being straight up with you. Like, this is a different CM Punk than what we've seen before.
Because he cut his hair?
No, just the way he moves. You see how, like, energetic he is. You see how vibrant he is. You see he's out doing more with younger talent, this and that. You know, giving advice there and there. Like, he seems like he's in a happy place right now. You see what I'm saying? So,
and Triple H said it. You're all for a change as long as you are the center of that change. That has stuck with me since that promo. So I'm probably never going to be a CM Punk guy, but at least now you've heard the story of why I had so much disdain for CM Punk. And I wish April Day was here to validate that story. I wish Kitty was here. And I know that his daughter has the picture because what he was doing was when she was younger, anytime he met a wrestler, he always said, can you sign it to his daughter? Because he was trying to build a portfolio for her. When she got older, she would have it. And I'm telling you, that just never said. And I'm telling you, that was a while ago. Maybe it's the Virgo in me, but that just didn't. In the show where we talk about the new bloodline is so dangerous, I felt like I had to diverge and say that.
Yeah, you must be hungry or something. You real angry right now.
Shannon, I feel like we took the time away from you because you were our special guest.
No, y'all good, man.
Are you excited about Saturday, about this war game? What are you most excited about?
I'm excited about this match, to be honest with you. Even before all of this,
Yeah.
I was excited about it because Bloodline has just that's been what's getting the money to the Bloodline story. Civil War now that we're having here. I'm excited about that.
Can we get some quick predictions?
You know that's what I was gonna ask him.
Yeah.
Who's the first one to come out on either side? And it don't matter who has the advantage. Who starts the match?
Okay, I've got Tama. Because I think that it's just because he started the last match. Because Tama started the last match that they had, I believe it was Tama Tonga started the last match. I'm gonna go with Tama, and they're not gonna put Roman in. They won't put Roman in. Tama and Jimmy.
Tonga Loa or Tama Tonga? Which one?
Tama. Yeah,
Tama Tonga. Okay, him and Jimmy. Because Jimmy owed him from attacking him from WrestleMania.
Right.
Okay. And see, I think that Sammy and Bronson Reed start off.
Ooh.
And the only reason I'm saying that to build up the anticipation, because I think it's going to be Roman and CM Punk looking at each other like, "No, you go. No, you. This is your family business. You go.
Yep.
I'm here to help you. You go ahead."
Yep.
They're going to be the last two in the.
That's how it was. Bad Blood. That's how it was Bad Blood because it was like, "Or you? No, you go in. No, you go in. No, you go in." There's no synergy. There's synergy with the new Bloodline. They have synergy. That's the reason why they're winning is because they actually are a team. They're a group. This grab bag of guys for the OG Bloodline, it's kind of like that's how they're looking at each other. Like, can we trust him? Can we trust him? Can we trust him? So they don't know.
That's it. That's why I say Bronson goes first, Tonga, then Tonga Loa so he can botch.
Hey, son, y'all gonna stop talking about my guy, bro. Stop disrespecting my guy, man.
Bronson,
y'all gonna be mad when it's revealed that he's the real tribal chief. You know what I'm saying? I'm just.
Listen, I lost respect for him when he couldn't hold the belt. I was like, come on now. You done hold television before. Who holds a belt like that?
He playing with y'all, bro. He's the real tribal chief.
And the only reason I'm saying Jacob is going to go before Solo because Solo's going to make sure he's there. But that's going to be. I really think Bronson starts it off because he got something to prove.
I have Jay and Tama.
Yeah.
Jay has what? He started Royal Rumble. And I believe he started the last War Games match, right? That's your starter, right? On the other side, Tama Tonga is someone that Solo can rely on to get things started, to build momentum, you know. So I'm going with that because like you said, Jacob's your heater. You want him close to Solo. So.
Yep.
So where's Tonga Loa go? Second
or third.
Okay. I'm just gonna make note of that because when you change your mind tomorrow, I'm gonna laugh. I'm gonna say no. You said he's going. I say he's third.
He's going to go last because, like I just said, he's going to be the tribal chief. WrestleMania night 2. Baby, I'm telling you.
That night 2. That's what it's gonna be.
Yeah. Before I said night 1, but it's night 2.
He's night 2.
Night 2
for the WWE Universal Championship.
Yep, all of that.
He's a real tribal chief.
So now I'm gonna throw a curveball at you, and I didn't even tell you about this.
Nah.
Do we see the Tongan twins for the women's tag team titles?
Why not? I'm with it because they did show up in NXT. They've been down there training, right? For a while, right? I'm with it.
And do we add those?
Let's start a women's bloodline. We have Nia. We have Naomi. Let's go. Let's try something different. We have multiple titles now, so.
I'm just saying you might have to free up some of your stars, and you might need some more tag teams.
Yeah.
Look, Shad is interested. You see that? You see how he looking? He like, wait a minute. He like, why not?
That don't sound bad at all.
An established tag team that can come in and work with
Everybody
other.
else. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Why not?
I'm just saying. I meant to throw it in there. And then while we're on the women, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know the Bloodline has overtaken Raw and SmackDown. You know, even when they went to NXT to mess with the Street Profits, which didn't go anywhere because it was Street Profits. It's so heavy that, you know, Triple H, well, I'm sorry, not Triple H. What's his name? Adam Pearce had to go out there on social media before the show and reveal something, right? Tell me, are you excited for this women's Intercontinental title? And why did they make a title just for Zelina Vega?
Wait a minute, hold up, real quick. Do you think that devalued the way that was presented? Do you think that devalued that title?
Yes,
like the introduction of it?
Only because you still showed it on the show. That it was like an exclusive. So the reason I'm saying that, because if you're doing something exclusive for the people in the arena, don't show it on the show as a recap. Let the social media do it. Like, remember the Speeds champion, we had to go online to see what it looked like.
Okay.
And then they talk about it as part of the commentary later down the line.
But if it's on the same level as the U.S. title, why not present it on the show or introduce it on the show like you did with the U.S. title? Because now it makes it seem like I seen people on Twitter talking about it. Now it makes it seem like it's not important. Like they don't really care about that title. I don't feel that way, but
I think they've run it. So I don't know if Triple H's creative juices, and I'm gonna let Shannon take a hold of this because you know how I get excited about titles. They've run it out of creative ways because they're stuck in a run of, I gotta be in the ring. Look at this, do title. What happened to a pre-tape recording? Look how exciting when those belts up there, those the Extravision and TNA, when they were revealed, how exciting it was on social media. Yeah. We were looking forward to it. Remember, we was losing our mind every day waiting to 12 o'clock to find out. I was about to say 12 o'clock. Was a new belt like? We were like, oh, did you see the new belt? Did you see new? And it became a buzz. Now you've kind of lost that luster because you revealed the women have something to fight for. We're going to have our first ever women's United States champion. Yay! The belt's white. This is on the strap. But where's the blue paint? Then it's like, oh, by the way, when's the Intercontinental coming? Because now we see the pattern. We know it's coming. Yeah. Kind of like how it was deflated when Asuka got her title. Remember, it was like, we knew it was coming. We knew it was going to be on a white strap. It's Roman belt, but on white. And why does it say undisputed? And it was just the one. You know what I mean? Like, we kind of like, because it was the last one revealed, we were like, we do it. Even though they delayed it. Remember, we kept saying, okay, Rhea got that nice belt. And we was like, ooh, we're going to get we're going to get the same one for the SmackDown. So it kind of, the luster was there. And I think it not necessarily devalued it. It took the air out of it. What say you, Shannon?
You know, it was overdue. It was. It's one of those kind of overdue. It should have been done. But I would have never introduced it on the SmackDown. That's something I wouldn't have done. I would have at least done it at the event, that Premium Live. Advertise it there, and then be like, "This is what we're gonna do on Raw." Don't just have Nick on this say, "Well, you know what? Our women have something to fight for." And put the title in like a video, and I was like, I mean, it's good that they got it because the women do deserve it because the women's wrestling has gotten so much better.
Oh my gosh, yes.
It's about give a title to your neck. So that title's for. That's a your neck title right there. So you win this title a certain amount of times, it's gonna push you to the women's title. Is gonna push you to that picture because that's what you need in order to get to that next step. So, but it was overdue. It was overdue. It should have came soon. It should not have been said on a.
And see, and I would have loved that they were revealed at the same time.
Yeah.
That would have, like, if you would have said, you know, both of them could have been at the last. What was the last pay-per-view? Bad Blood, right? No, it was the Saudi Arabia. It was the Saudi show, right?
What? Crown Jewel.
Crown Jewel. You could have said that on the Go Home show. You could have said it on while you're there. We got a special announcement. We're going to reveal it at Crown Jewel, but it probably would have took away from the gaudy belts that they gave them because it was like 2024 is the year of the belt, and championship culture is probably going to have to dive in that by the end of the year. We got 746 new belts introduced this year.
That's
the good, the bad, the belt. You know, like literally, that's how I feel about some of these belts. It was like, whoa, wait a minute.
The super ugly and stuff.
Yeah. But I just feel like they could have, I would have loved to see an internet exclusive that they got revealed at the same time. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm here with General Manager Nick Aldis, and I'm here with General Manager Adam Pierce, and they have a special announcement. You know, they did a video. Package of all the different women, the pioneers. Did a nice video package saying, and we're here to introduce 2 women's titles that the women of Raw and SmackDown will be able to compete for. Boom. And then guess what? Now we're on our like 10th tournament. It's bad enough AEW is about to tournament us to death with the Gold and Blue League. We got the United States title one. We're going to have one probably for the tag team titles, and then you're going to have one on Raw for that. So,
Random question. Does this lead to furthering the beef between Aldis and Pierce?
I think
because Aldis came out first, you know. You have competition, and now Pierce is like, oh, he did it first, so now I got to come out and I got to address mine. Maybe they, you know, that's a way to kind of throw, you know, fuel into the fire. I'm just thinking out loud.
Are they gonna have a day one pay-per-view this year?
I don't know if it's a pay-per-view, but yeah.
Or like I didn't see it 2025.
It's probably just the first Raw, right? What is that? It's January 6th? That's probably the day one. I haven't heard anything about it, but
okay.
So yeah.
Oh boy. Well, yeah, I was looking it up. And we definitely hit the topic of why they're so dangerous. Now we got talking championship. That's okay, because that's what we do on championship culture. We talk about what is it called? PLE, right?
Yep,
mm-hmm.
PLEs. That's what we do. We talk about it. List of results. It looks like the Royal Rumble is the first thing on there. Okay, so maybe they don't have it. I mean, then we got to see what the other shows are.
And what's that? That's in February, right? Because remember, they didn't really like
February 1st
introduce that stuff until like December, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right around now. Then you had day one, whatever it was it New Year's Revolution or whatever it was?
Yeah, everybody NXT had one, and what you call it, had one.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for Saturday, and I'm also excited for Monday.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know why? Because we had a spicy confrontation between, you know, some brothers, but we're gonna wait to see how that plays out. Because today, I think we gave people something to think about this new bloodline. 7 months in, but a history of accolades that can understand why, so people can understand why the new bloodline is so dangerous. Shannon, what's your final thoughts on that?
Bring on the pay-per-view. Bring on the PLE. I want to see what the saga is going to unfold, especially with what we've learned today.
Yeah.
That's fair. What about you, brother Hugh? What's your final thoughts? Because I know you joined in the last minute to talk about your favorite CM Punk. But what's your thoughts?
Man, I'm a fan right now. I'm not booking anything. I'm just sitting back and I'm just enjoying it now, man. Like, just like Shannon, I'm waiting for the PLE and see what we get. Hopefully we get to find a boss.
Hard times.
Find a boss. Hi, Chief.
12 minutes of nothing. 12 minutes. Wasn't it 12 minutes?
Oh, no,
it went on forever. I was like, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to say. You want my comments? I'm going to give you my comments. When I'm ready to give you the comments, I was like,
but first, I'm going to say final boss 32 times.
Yeah. If Rock had a sister, I introduced you to her. I was like, why is he so random? Like,
I don't know, but I love it.
He just kept walking through the back. He said, get a brewski. What did he say about Stone Cold? Get a beer or something. He said tequila or something.
He said beer on me. Beer on me.
He said, Dusty Rhodes, my hero, I love you. I hate your son. That was the best way. But he said, I hate your son. I was like, who asked for all of this? And then I swear, if you go back and watch him, he was lost. He was lost in that part. He said, oh, where's my truck? I was right here somewhere. Where's my daggone truck? You can tell he was trying to play it cool, like, yep, you know how when you forget when you park at the mall, you just be walking through like, I'm going to my car. And then you cut over 3 times and go back up to where you started. You're like, yep, definitely parked here.
Hey, that's crazy.
So, Shannon, tell the people. I mean, we can keep going about random stuff, but I want to hold us to this time because I feel like we did a lot of talking, but we got a lot of insight from you and things to look forward to. But for those that are tuning in, because the number is shot up, especially when I start telling my CM Punk story.
I see.
Tell
you, boy.
Tell the people where they can find Mr. Smith.
You can find me on X and Instagram, podcast_Smitty. Make sure you find me on Boom Broadcasting. Go to the YouTube channel. Watch the content from me and the guys. We've got some great podcasts on different sports. We've got a baseball-centric podcast, a live podcast with live sports news. We got some other stuff that is not sports related. We've got a TV and movie podcast. We've got a podcast that, helps you with coping with life. We have a barrage of things. There's going to be some more things in the new year. So won't be doing a Friday show considering the fact I'm going to be working on Thanksgiving. But I'll be back next Tuesday for another episode of Quick Hits. And as always, I'm Shannon Smith, and this is Quick Hits.
Oh, that was good. Now,
He did the thing. He did the thing.
He did the thing. He did it, right? You said it. He don't even know he did the thing.
Right.
Do it again. Do it again.
Do
it again. Do the end again. Do it again. Ooh,
What I'm saying.
do it again. He did it. He did the thing.
He said, I'm Shannon Smith. And this is Quick Hits.
It is
I was
Quick
like,
Hits.
yeah, signed off.
He signed off.
That was smooth.
He did it. He did it. We get excited about the smallest thing. Like when Drew says, Satoma Media, because the struggle is real to be awesome. Oh, he did the thing. He did it. You know how we go into everybody has a story. It's like you just become a different person when you say it. Because he'd be like, because everybody has a story. He get real close to the You did your thing. This is why we can never be under an hour. This is why we were okay until you came on. Then you came and disrupt some stuff, right?
I know. That's what I do.
Because
you're welcome.
Because tell them where they can find you if they want to see more shenanigans like
right
this.
There,
because
it's right there on the screen. HASTAT 3RD. I'm here every Tuesday 8:00, every Wednesday 10:30. Right. Okay.
Who's story?
It ain't me. I don't know.
That ain't me.
Somebody go check the cars.
Oh, it might be. It ain't mine. I'm gonna do that.
Oh, it's definitely you. So,
but while we all look though, everybody's like, "What's the noise?" Like we all like, "Wow, that's real."
No, I would have jumped on earlier, but that same thing was happening earlier, so that's why I didn't come on until later. So that's why I checked again. I was like, okay. But
did you tell everybody that you acknowledge Solo as your tribal chief? Do you love Solo? Do you love Solo?
I love Solo, but he's not my tribal chief.
Okay, he's not.
No.
Okay.
No.
There's only one tribal chief.
Well, I'm happy that y'all got the CM Punk story out of me. I felt it in my heart to just say it. So now, have you ever heard that CM Punk story? Or
No,
was Brian the only one that heard it? I think Brian is the only one that heard it.
It was only Brian, yeah.
Yeah, because
I never heard it.
That's going to be in the notes for the NAR. You know that's going to be in the notes.
Oh, absolutely. He's going to go off.
He's going to be like, brother guy. Final boss.
I don't know what's worse, the fact that he did it or the fact that I believe he done it. That's his character. There it is again.
See? Go check your... See, it's him. Look at him. Go check your car. Hey.
Man, you might want to check your car, man.
That's not how my car sells.
Baltimore City for you.
Joy's living on the in-house. I have my in-house. What a yard. And a parking pad.
Car alarm from the 90s right there.
Right.
That's a somebody that kicked a tire and it's too sensitive car alarm.
Right.
On that Lexus that what was it? I thought it was going off again. That Lexus 3500, the green one with the gold trim at the bottom, that was that alarm.
Hey man,
Oddly specific.
or the wind blew too hard.
Yeah, so you're like, why is this going off again? Because the man down the street installed it for you.
A random leaf following the car, and then
Right.
He's like, God, it's raining. My alarm going off because it's raining too hard. Squirrel ran past it.
Oh my God.
Why are we like this? But this is what. So this is what we do at Championship Culture. We talk about some else. We educate you, and we have a good time. I just want to know, Shannon, did you have a good time tonight?
Oh, it was great, man. I want to do it again.
All right, that's good because
Keep that in mind.
Listen, he likes to talk sports. I like to talk about the sports sometime too.
No.
I usually would have had a reference. You stop it.
No.
I would have had a reference tonight, but I tried to make the reference about how we got here. You see how I did that at the beginning? If you missed my reference, and I hope Dwayne sees it because I hope that makes it to his notes. We're starting to do shows now that we're hoping that it makes it to Dwayne notes, which is hilarious.
Absolutely.
Because if you want to see his notes, you should tune in on Wednesday to the flagship show on the Restaurant Now podcast at 10:30-ish. I'm going to start saying ish because 10:30-ish is about, might be 10:35-ish, might be 10:37, might be 11:07, depending on what's happening in the world that day. But Shannon, we definitely appreciate you joining us tonight. I'm trying to see if there's anything else you need to say because we're dangerously close to that 2-hour mark, and it's crazy because if we this close, we might as well go to the 14 minutes, or we could just end it. So if you got nothing else, he doesn't have any. He was up to something because he's too focused.
No, what are you talking about?
You look like you're up to something.
I'm just ready to hit this outro if you need it.
Okay, so with that being said, we're gonna sign off because it's almost time for what's Hugh's favorite part of Just a Tip. But make sure you comment your thoughts and any questions you might have because we tried to explain why the new Bloodline is so dangerous. Tune in at the time of this recording. Saturday is Survivor Series or games, So let's see. Or games. I can't even do it. My what you call a voice don't work anymore because I'm so used to Triple H.
Right.
But don't forget you can follow us on all social media platforms, which include Instagram, Threads, and X. Right?
Oh,
we lost track.
He said it's right.
No.
I'm out.
He said, "Oh no."
He said, forget y'all.
He said, "I don't want to hear this anymore."
No,
He said, "I want to be part of this." I was like, "You don't want to hear this?" He said, "I'm done."
No, man. Y'all threw me off. I'm like, what happened?
I was like, did you see me grab my things? He left us.
I was surprised. I was like, I don't know what happened.
I was in the middle of trying to sign off. But with that being said, don't forget to tune in every Tuesday to Championship Culture at 8 p.m. And we want to thank you for watching. And just remember, every belt has a story, and I can't wait to hear yours.
That's right. I'm Has the Third. That's Shannon, and this is.
I'm the guy.
Told you he was up to something. You enjoying the show so far? Good. Go over to Instagram and follow us at Championship Culture _. And don't forget, check out youtube.com/therestaurant. Look for the playlist for Championship Culture. And remember, every bout has a story.